Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
Alex, I don't know if you know this, but it is just a concept.
It is a concept. So that reference is coming from our Amazon proposal. Some people, did we tell people that they wanted us to figure out the structural analysis?
Pretty sure.
For the
Did you figure that out? Did you get back to him, Al?
I did not.
And then a non-paid fun project for a media blitz to get people's attention and, show people what we do, that we do cool stuff.
It's a concept.
It's a concept, everybody.
So another concept we had a couple podcasts ago was basically how do we become a reseller of products? And our line of thinking was siding, roofing, maybe even windows.
Maybe even windows. Don't tell Devin Tilley.
Devin Tilley. Know what? He listens to the podcast, but I don't know if he listens to everyone, so we'll get a text from him if he hears
I
this.
better get one by Sunday.
Yeah. So I talked to one of our friends, Michelle, from Awakens Interiors, because interior designers do this, and she actually informed me that she kind of goes above and beyond what most interior designers do because she used to be a part of a showroom, right? So I asked, how do you do it? And she said, well, the first thing you can go to like those builders showcases. When they're having a huge convention, go to that and start meeting the actual manufacturers and the actual reps from the companies themselves.
Okay.
Right?
And then you're basically asking them, how do I become a reseller at the end of
Yes.
the conversation? All right.
And she goes, they're going to want to send you to a store. They're going to automatically say, oh, go to ABC Building Supply.
Best one.
And you say, she goes, tell them, no, I want to carry you directly. What will it take?
Interesting. Look how sharky that is. I like it.
And they'll come back with a couple things. One is, do you have a showroom? And at first, back in the day, she said she kind of fibbed, but now she has a whole setup, right?
Yeah.
So we do have a showroom, this conference room.
Absolutely.
But once we have our big office, we'll have a legit showroom. So,
LEGIT.
I love your interjections. So yes, we have a showroom. Be prepared, other architects, to answer that. If you have a room or a hallway where you can put their products,
That is a showroom.
yeah. So the answer isn't, I don't know, we might be able to put
Make it
in.
till you fake it. Fake it till you make it.
Yep. Then the other thing is that they may want you to promise enough volume, right? Or if you can't promise enough volume, they may want you to buy enough product. So she's had to buy tens of $1,000s of product and then have it. And then that's how she gets those huge discounts. She said you want a wholesale account, not a trade sale account. So I'm sure we could look into the difference.
Did you ask her? Okay, is a trade sale account if you go into their company and do that whole dog and pony instead of just saying, nope, I want to be a wholesaler. Tell me what it's going to take to do it.
Yeah, I think a wholesaler is you basically being Menards or whatever, Home Depot, right?
Yep.
That's your wholesale. I think a trade sale is you can say, hey, I'm a builder. I do a bunch of these. I want some % off or something like that. Mm-hmm. But you want to get the wholesale price, not the trade sale price.
Okay, got it.
Yep. And that was it. I was like, thanks, Michelle. You've been wonderful.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
then she followed up with me, which is great. Like, hey, have you made any progress on that? I'm like, nope.
But I got some content to talk about.
Yeah. And I said, next year we might start that, and next year is coming up quick, so I don't feel like I'm pushing it off too much.
So you're going to try to do this as what? Refresh me again. We're going to try to do this as a firm. We're going to say, hey, here's what we spec'd out on your project. Please use it, and promo code F9.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you go in and you to the supplier and they somehow ticket us.
And a great way to do it is probably to introduce ourselves to these actual manufacturers through our development. So,
right.
Hey, we want to be a wholesaler. We tried it out first. We built it.
We love your product.
Oh, it's the best
greatest.
thing. Yep. Then we actually bought tens of thousands of dollars of products for them. And then we know for our customers and we say, hey, we did this. This is, if you want to, you can order through us. Here's our siding. Here's this. And then somehow we have to get with the contractor because he's going to be the one ordering it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, we just got to make it clear then. I still like this. I love this idea. Why
because
not
I think we can have smaller overhead and thus give them a better price. So.
Yeah, and why not try it? Why not try it? There you go.
So that was one idea.
Yep.
The next idea I wanted to bring up was selling plans. So before I get into
and
it,
we've tried that before, right? In some kind of way. Didn't we have like a link on our website at one point or something like that? And then we did we put prices on them or anything?
It was a sub link. So meaning like there was a, hey, plans, and then there was a bunch of links under it. It never worked out. And there's a resurgence in the architecture community. And Entree Architect actually brought it up. I wanted to ask this question, but someone in there already brought it up. And basically people were going back and forth. And one person said, well, if you can make, $12,000 a year, it's nice passive income. Because plans sell from anywhere from $1,000 to, $4,000. And yeah, that does seem $1,000 a month does seem like nice passive income, but how much work do you have to put into it
to get it up to where you could even sell them?
And I want to show you two guys I've talked to one, Levon Hodges, and I think we'll be in contact with him. He sent in some advice. He'll be on the show. He won't be on this one, but we'll play it later. And he's making up whole new plans. This is a pretty good floor plan here. So I'm at his website, levondesigns.com. He's out of Florida. Our buddy Nick from Dig probably knows him since they're in the same state. That's how it works, right?
I'm sure Levon is taller though.
Yeah, easily. I think Levon has him by a foot or two.
At least.
The only way it'll be disproven is if they get a picture together. He would stand on stairs. Nick would stand on stairs. I don't trust that guy. But anyways, he's making up new plans. He's in the Entree Architect community. He's showing some cool renderings of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're really nice actually. And then I saw this other one, Perch Plans. So look at this. You can go to perchplans.com or just Google it and you'll find it. He has a really cool layout, right? Mm-hmm. And he has an architecture firm, and then he's developed models from basically those concepts. Again, very cool.
Really clean graphics, really clean floor plans. It looks like an architect put it together, which is good because I think we're good at graphics, typically.
Exactly. But do you have any thought or any take? And I wonder if these guys, if they're actually selling these plans, or if someone sees them, loves them, and says, I want to do this, but I want to tweak it.
I think maybe both. Because we have a lot of people that come to us and just they pull a stock plan off here, and just like the images we're seeing where it's like your typical just black filled in walls and like there's no dimensions on it, just the presentation style floor plans.
Yep.
And then they say, hey, I want to do this but tweak it.
Yeah.
And then we so it's still a custom house.
And we did the half-hearted attempt of taking plans that we had the rights to, but for other clients. And the styles were varied and unique because we're more about substance and styles. Yep. So, and the environment, plays a role in that. But I like what these two guys are doing, the Perch Plan and Levon.
How new is Levon's?
Oh, he's in the middle of renderings right now. Like
That's
he's
incredible.
In the midst of it.
Yeah. What about just like houseplans.com or something like that?
Well, I wonder if they're putting them on there too. I think they're making their own website. I would almost put them on both just so you get, exposure. But don't you like the idea of coming up with a consistent style and then doing multiple kind of iterations on that style?
I like that idea the best, yeah.
But that's so much work.
I know. I instantly go to, I think it seems like a good recession idea. It seems like it's a good thing to just bank for the recession when we actually have time to breathe and when we genuinely need to make up work.
Yeah.
To keep everything going. So I'm not opposed to it, but here's the thing. So we had an intern come in 2 years ago, I think 2 summers ago, maybe 3 now.
Yep.
And they did that for us. They basically took, we picked 10 houses, right? And I think it took them almost a month's worth of work. So all of a sudden you do some multiplication factors, right? Don't you think it was, how much do you think minimum do you think he spent on that, doing that?
Yeah, probably a month.
Yeah, so probably 160 hours. And if we're billing him out at a low rate, that's $10,000. That's $10,000.
Because he could have been doing billable work.
Right. So then I see. Then that makes sense for the $12,000, right? I just did the math. There you go. There's why. Okay,
yes.
$12,000 you pay it back in a year, and then next year, then finally you get to have $1,000 per month. And where the $1,000 per month, what I really like is pays for your rent. If you're leasing an office, I bet you're paying about $1,000. But most architecture firms our size, small businesses, are paying about $1,000 a month.
Yep,
for their rent.
And that's where I believe in it, and that's why I brought it up, because we believe in multiple streams of income. And some of our other, like Revit Furniture pays for this office, stuff like that. The only thing is, the way we did it in that $10,000 number you had was based off of plans that already exist that did not really sell and did not make that amount of money. So to develop a new concept and how many hours these guys are putting into it to make something consistent and beautiful and stuff like that, I think you're talking in the $20,000-$30,000 range if you had billable work during that same time. If you don't, then it could be a project where anyone has free time, come up with, it could be part of your fun projects. It could be your firm fun project, and it could be teaching some of the younger people in your firm, giving them red lines and you being the client and doing it the way that you want and developing an aesthetic and skill. I could see it that way, where you're not really...
Yeah, I could see it that way too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
I wish we could get our students to just do it.
I know.
In studio class.
I wish...
We're not doing that, I'm just saying.
That's what you say. So,
I saw Alex's wheels start turning.
Well, every year there's, I'm not kidding you, there's some really amazing students.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's 2 to 3 plans that I wish I could instantly turn into and say, hey, spend the summer with us. We will turn this into an awesome set. So, that would be so much fun.
Yeah. Whatever happened to non-paid internships, right?
Well, we decided to pay them.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking. Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. I think it's something to consider, but I think that's a recession thing. That's a recession. We're waiting for the next recession.
Yep.
And we bank it. That's a perfect one.
Cool.
For that. Yeah.
Okay. Next segment, we have best and worst advice from Eric Reinholdt. And you guys might know him. We're excited to have him on here because he's from 30 by 40 Design Workshop. It's a huge YouTube channel. Go check that out.
He has some huge. The numbers that he gets for some of his videos are incredible, like $250,000 plus.
Yeah, absolutely. Great production value.
Beautiful production value.
Yep. You can go if you Google 30 by 40 Design Workshop, you can get to his website. He also produced a short little film that I watched. It's A Choice to Make, and it's at the Architecture and Design Film Festivals in New York, Chicago, and LA this year. And you guys should really watch that too. I'll put a link in the show notes because he explains some of his process and how he transitioned and how he frames his firm by doing what he wants to begin. Like, he starts out his day with no communication. And then he goes on a walk. It's really cool. It's 8 minutes long.
I like it. Just manifest your reality. I can't say that enough.
Very cool. So here we go. Here is Eric.
Hey, Eric here with 30 by 40 Design Workshop. Loving the Inside the Firm podcast. Thanks for the mention on your recent episode, Alex and Lance. I really appreciate it. Okay, so you asked about the best and worst advice I've ever received, and it reminded me of the bad dad joke where the dad says to his son, never take unsolicited advice. Now, I get unsolicited advice all the time. I think everyone does. And the problem with advice is that it's mostly saying, you should do it the way I did it. There's this inherent confirmation bias to all advice. So instead of best and worst advice, maybe you should think of this as simply what's worked best for me rather than advice per se. So the thing that's worked best for me has been to always be a practitioner. There are a lot of people out there telling you what to do without any real credibility to back it up, without being practitioners themselves. So being a practitioner means you've taken the leap yourself. You're doing it. Being a practitioner means you're out there making things. You're executing every day. You're taking massive action. And it also means that you're going to fail a lot because the more you make, the more chances you have to fail. Then you get to try new things and make more stuff and then fail more and pivot and try again. And I always tell my kids that the world is divided between creators and consumers, and that they should always try to be the creators in the world. Creators don't have time to critique others. They're too busy executing and improving on the last thing they made. They don't have time to tear things or other people down. They're too busy building new things, too busy experimenting. Creators don't optimize for perfection. They optimize for results. And so while others are optimizing for perfection, creators are always executing and improving. And in the end, it's the creators who end up making the things in the world. Being an architect today can look like anything you want it to. You can be an author, a filmmaker, a developer, a contractor, a TV personality, an educator, a marketer, a product designer, and still make great architecture. Being an architect doesn't have to be just one thing, just serving clients one-on-one. When you become a practitioner, you understand this, and you understand what it means to publish, to write, to record, to sketch, to photograph, and speak in public, and to educate. And for me in my life and my business, this knowledge has brought me the ultimate creative freedom. It's allowed me to design the life the way I want it to look. So do whatever you can, do what makes you happy, because our time here is really short. So get after it. And then don't believe any of what I've just said until you try it for yourself. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks again for the mention. I hope all your listeners will stop by my YouTube channel, 30x40 Design Workshop, one of only a few architecture video channels out there. Keep up the fantastic work. Keep executing. Keep making things out there. Cheers.
Eric, that was awesome. I think we might have found a new best friend. Just kidding.
What? How tall is he?
Hey, there's always room for more friends, isn't there?
We have multiple best friends.
Man, I say that because we just had this conversation literally inside the firm before we had this the conversation that Alex and I are having now about critics versus consumers. And Eric put it so eloquently, there's creators and there's consumers. And I also tell my kids that all the time, is that if you're a creator, you don't have time to critique because you're too busy creating. I can't agree with it enough. And I don't know where critics have a role almost in anything, because at the end of the day, you're never going to satisfy them. Right.
And it becomes obvious when you're not a creator, that your critiques are baseless because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening.
And your confirmation bias is already there, right?
Yep, I do. So I think Lance would agree with me. There is a small role that they play. And the role is that when you're put on a platform like Eric or like us or multiple different people, is that you can't just take our words for it, right? Just because we're at this platform, because we could sway you into some way that might not be good for you. So the critics come along, and I think it's a function of biology. I think we're all connected some way, and they're trying to poke holes in your argument. And you might not have the answer right away, but that doesn't mean the person listening, the larger mass of people that are just paying attention to this battle, aren't seeing that, oh yeah, that critic doesn't know what they're talking about, because that mass might know. They might be someone who has experience or something like that. So I'm trying to switch my mindset that the critic counts in that they're helping you make a better argument.
Exactly.
To the masses.
Yep. And so they're putting a mirror up to what you're creating, and then you have to defend that mirror. And that's not bad. You just have to understand how to do it.
Yep. And you have to be more clear, you have to be more concise and all that. And you're not always going to win, and it's not about winning. It's because they're coming at it from a different perspective. So it's a tough road to tangle with, but I agree with how he put it. I have a question for him. Eric, did you listen to Cayko? Did you get any of that sense? Because he used the phrase "get after it" and then "execute," which are not synonymous with, only Cayko can use it. But if you listen to Cayko podcast, let us know.
Let Al know. He's a big listener. It's a good podcast. It's just too dark for me.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Seriously, I can't say enough. So thanks again, Eric. We really appreciate you being on. And do check out his YouTube, his channel. It is phenomenal.
And look, we're going to collaborate with him on at least one video. I think we're going to get into Revit and how to make a concept or really develop one quickly. So go over to his website, his YouTube, and subscribe to that. And just be on the lookout.
Yeah. What's next? What do I got?
You got questions.
Oh, I got questions. So A couple weeks ago, we got this awesome email from prop.architecture. And basically, they asked us a few questions. And so we're going to answer a few more on air today. You can head over to their website and check out the full write-up. Alex and I actually recorded something for them, and then while we were driving, and then he translated it into written word. But we'll answer some here.
His was even edited. It wasn't all the questions, so we might answer some questions. Here
Perfect.
That weren't even
So I'm going to do a little Q&A with Mr. Al here, and we're gonna peel back his brain and understand what's going on inside Al Gore's head.
It's gonna be. Let's get crazy.
Okay. Question: Al Gore, could you share a little bit about how you became interested in architecture, and then when/how did you start F9 Productions?
I am solely responsible for everything good that has come out of F9 Productions. Let's just get that out there from the start.
Clear the air.
I was always interested in architecture. I just didn't kind of know it. In the beginning, I was drawing ants versus bees, where essentially the bees were on the top. No, what was it? The ants were on the top of the ground because that's where I saw them. And the bees somehow lived.
The bees were in underground, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Then I graduated from that into pirate ships, which was an awesome time in my life. I really wish I could go back to that. You got my boy Lego blocks.
Yep.
Big Lego blocks. And I've started to go crazy
Awesome.
in that room.
Is he just wrecking everything that you create?
No. So the first couple of days he was wrecking everything I created. So I made a little spaceship and I had to put it on top of his spaceship box so he wouldn't wreck it, right?
Yeah.
And then my wife took it down and it got destroyed. But I made some cool things yesterday and he's just started handling them now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's just handling them now. So I'm getting back into my inner child.
That's
again.
awesome. Good.
So went from that to Legos to then literally at age 12 drawing cities and drawing floor plans. And my grandma would take me to see Frank Lloyd Wright buildings and all that. So the natural progression was just architecture school. It's the only profession I've ever thought about.
But even
in my
in,
life.
but even
Actually,
in
not
high
true.
school, you were drafting houses, right?
I was drafting houses in high school, was taking a couple drafting classes per semester. I did so some reason mom had, it was ninth grade. No. It was in elementary school. What do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be an architect, a policeman, and I want to have tons of Legos. And this was a couple years ago. When you're 30, what do you want to do, right? So architect, right? I was in the Army, so that kind of counts, right?
As a policeman?
Well, it was the concept. It was the concept I have a gun protecting America. All right?
World police.
World police. And then it was so funny because I was dating Annie at the time. And we didn't have a kid or anything. And I think you might have remembered this. And I started to Google right around when I was 30 that you can get large boxes of Legos. I'm like, honey, I want to buy them. It's like $40. I feel like I really need to get huge boxes of Legos.
Uh-huh.
She's like, you do not need
You
huge
do
boxes
not.
of Legos.
No.
And I'm like, I think I do need huge boxes of Legos. I did not get them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw this letter and I just put it up to her. I said, at age 7, architect, police, and I will have a bunch of Legos.
Hilarious.
Now I do.
Dreams come true.
Dreams do come true.
Yeah.
So then after college, Lance and I went to separate firms. You guys have all heard the backstory. And then we kind of started our own firm. And I've been, again, solely responsible for everything.
Just everything.
That's
Just
ever
all
happened
all
in
the stuff.
this
Yep.
firm.
Building.
I hope I answered that
I just
question.
I come in at like 10, look around, leave at 3, after I'm done looking around.
He goes, what do you think of this? Pretty good.
Okay, cool. Good answers. All right, next one. Most firms use an array of software throughout the entire design process. What does your firm's software workflow look like for a typical custom residential project?
It looks like Revit. Then we add on some Revit. And then sometimes we sprinkle in more Revit.
And then if necessary, a little bit more.
A little bit more. Well, the dessert program is
But
Revit.
you know what? This reminds me. So here's I think maybe it was within the first year of Alex and I starting the firm. We had an interview with another firm down in Denver, and they were just they were an interior they're literally called like interior architects or something like that. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But they said, "Hey, can you do these interior renderings for us?" And we go, "Oh yeah, we can do it in Revit, and then we'll have to go to 3ds Max, blah 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 blah." And then we just decided when we got back to the office that day, let's just do everything in Revit and see if we can do it. And then we forced ourselves to just streamline the whole thing to the point where we said, we don't even want to Photoshop this afterwards. Now, it didn't work out. We still add Photoshop at the end and touch things up because you have to. Yeah. But we do even our photorealistic renderings in Revit, and people don't believe us. They like, I see there's posts all the time that Revit sucks, and I'm like, man, go to doomsdaydwellings.com and check it out because we have some really cool stuff. I mean, the stuff that's been featured on Arc Daily, the Amazon stuff is featured on multiple news stations.
Yep. I even 2012, which is some of the stuff that's hanging around our office. Just that's amazing done in Revit and Photoshop.
If there's any students out there listening right now, and you have a student account with Autodesk, here's what's really cool is 2 years ago they added the cloud feature, so all of a sudden you can render in the cloud. When Alex and I went to school, we were having to gang computers together and create our own little rendering farms. And this was at a time when the first quad-core processors came out.
Yeah.
And Alex and I both got them. Like we spent a large amount of money to us at that time on those computers.
Yeah, it's still a large amount of money.
It is still a large amount of money, yeah. But those but now all of a sudden, so instead of waiting like 24 hours for a rendering, minutes. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So it's worth it. Everyone that's jumping between programs,
SketchUp, Rhino, Revit, Autodesk, whatever.
I understand your nuanced reasons why you're doing it. Trust me, I do. There is a workaround in Revit and Photoshop, and you can make your images look 98%, 95% what you're doing when you're crossing these, and cut your time in half. And as Eric said, life is short, man.
Yep.
Life is short.
Yep. So streamline your process 100%. Yep. Make it efficient. Optimize for results, to quote him perfectly. Okay, next one. What spurred your firm's transition into real estate? Oh, sorry. That's jumping ahead. Talk a little bit about your Atlas tiny house, which won an Architizer A+ award and was featured on HGTV's Tiny House Big Living. Where did the inspiration come from? What was the design build process like? I love that project. I'm so happy that we built it. The idea came from our friend who basically wanted to get out of his comfort zone and go around the U.S. and we're like, hey, let's build it and let's build a tiny house. And essentially came up with a concept, and the concept came when I was in Glacier National Park, and it started to rain, so we all went inside and played cards, and I get claustrophobic. And the RV was great, but it's an RV, it's plastic, and the contrast between an RV and the most beautiful places in the world is stark when you realize I don't have much time in this place. So when Lance and I started to design, we came up with the concept of I wanted a huge glass wall, and then I think you said let's have transformer house. Yes.
So then huge glass wall, transformer house. Let's put a deck in front of it and then an awning in front of it so we can protect that glass, and then it can fold down so that it opens up. And now claustrophobia is gone, and now when you're in these amazing spaces, you can see it even if you have to go inside. And then we added just our regular logic is that we started from the basics, and we eliminated all thoughts of making these look like cabins on wheels. We thought, if this is going to move down the road, what should it do? It should be semi-aerodynamic. So let's tilt the roof so that it points backwards so that the wind goes over it. And then once we do that, we can collect rainwater and we can collect solar panels. So it all kind of naturally flowed from there. And then the floor plan got done. Once you make that window wall, what do you want to put there? Well, you want to put a kitchen so that you can have a bar so you can hang out. And then so everything kind of from those fundamental concepts started to fill in the gap.
Yeah. I'll speak briefly on the design build process. Was exhausting, but super fun. So we were, trying to manage the firm at the same time that we were doing design build, and we had this big deadline.
And school. We were teaching.
and we were teaching just the whole, and trying to have a personal life too. So
that did not exist during that time frame.
Barely, yeah. It was, but it was 100% rewarding in that it helped foster the culture that we're trying to build in the firm, because then we all, built together and stuff like that.
And we got to thank our dads. They came down, helped us out. My dad unfortunately cut through my only good tape measure.
/Al did. /Al.
I really wanted just to leave that out there because his friends blame him.
all the time.
Yeah.
It's weird how your mind gets tricked in that show.
Right.
You know, for that part.
He takes after me.
We'll do one more, and then we'll transition into a different segment. So last question for this. There's some other ones that are great too. We'll talk about those.
Yep, later.
What spurred your firm's transition into real estate development? Do you think the transition into larger projects will result in a necessity to grow the size of your firm?
What spurred it was just the idea of we want to do a better job, and we're trying to bring everything in-house. We're trying to control more of the process to streamline it. So just like everything in Revit, everything in F9. So not only do we think that we can communicate better and execute better, we think that then we could deliver it at a more flexible price range.
Absolutely. Plus, the more risk, the more reward. And at the end of the day, that's part of the deal too. Is you got to make money, and we want to do that.
It seems extremely natural that if you've done building, if you've done design, why not step into development?
Yep. Every architect should try it once, even if it's just
A chicken coop.
Or flipping a house is what I was going to say. But sure, a chicken coop. Absolutely.
Okay. So how's that rent it out to your chickens? I guess they'd pay you in eggs. That's how it works.
They do. Absolutely. The follow-up question to that was, do you think the transition into larger projects will result in a necessity to grow the size of your firm?
I don't necessarily think so. I think that most of the work will be done by subs. And again, projects, because of the scope of how projects work, is that you're building for a long time, but then you're designing and getting through the design process in Colorado. I'm sure a lot of other places is a year-long process. My answer to that would be, I would try to take I'm going to give you the 40,000 foot perspective, and that is, we are almost, in my opinion, at the end of this current business cycle, which is the cycle of growth, and we're going to hit another recession soon. And Alex and I don't think it's smart to try to extend beyond 12 people at this point. Maybe on the next boom, then we expand again, and then we start to franchise. So we're trying to keep aware of like, hey, this firm started in a recession, and when did it start? Oh, okay, and then that's when the growth started happening again. So you got to be aware of that, because we don't want to do mass layoffs or anything like that. Nope.
So, what do we got next? Nick up?
We have NickReads. Yeah. So let's hear from him.
Alrighty.
Hello, best friends. I hope you all had a great week this week. A reading. Key attributes of a leader. Attributes that equal the right stuff. The world is a highly competitive place. Competition can fuel you to succeed, or it can drive you out of business. Leadership and management are noble careers, if done well. No other role offers so many ways to help others learn and grow. Strengthening your people and your teams brings gratification and rewards. Your goal is to build a thriving and enduring business. In building leadership teams with top-notch qualities, there are 6 main traits you need to seek out and develop in your people. Drive. It takes an incredible amount of initiative and energy to lead a team into the marketplace day after day and consistently win new business, deliver great value to your clients, and keep ahead of your competitors. Art Gensler. Now I know you're saying, Nick, hold up. You said there were 6 and you gave us 1. Now I'm not one to leave best friends hanging in anticipation, so here are Art's 6 main traits to seek out and develop. Drive, integrity, collaboration, focus, efficiency and effectiveness, and innovation. And yes, I know that's 7, but Art combines efficiency and effectiveness into one trait. He's a sneaky devil. Lance, as the authority figure in your life, here is what I want you to do. Toodles!
Okay, that was awesome, Nick. I love how he starts and ends everything. So there's 6 key attributes, right? And the one I have a question on was the one that you read was drive. So thinking about leadership and how you kind of lead the way for your team, I get how we can instill integrity in other people or in ourselves, right? Holding the standards. I get how we can foster collaboration, right? I understand that we can focus, improve efficiencies through streamlining, right? And effectiveness. and then have an eye on innovation, right? All that makes sense. But drive. Because I think I have a drive. And I think maybe after I ask you, I'll maybe say where I think mine comes from. Where does yours come from?
Ego.
And and how do you foster it in others?
Oh, I meant that in half jest.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good question. And I don't have an easy answer other than I've always just wanted to be the best at whatever I'm doing. And I don't know if it's just an innate desire that's within me, or if it's because I've seen other people do better than me, and then me go, well, I could do better than that. And then there's some drive. I think healthy competition is probably what breeds all of that. So in my world, that's how you have to set up within the firm that there's healthy competition among everybody, because then it fosters drive.
Yeah, and I think you can do that through collaboration by just people teaming up and working. And here's an idea. Oh yeah, I'll improve on that. You don't have to pit people against each other.
Nope.
Is what I'm getting at.
Exactly.
And I think you're right, and that's why I asked the question: is that where does it come from? I don't know. It just comes. It just comes. Because how I was going to answer that is that I deeply value a lot of people that I know in my life. And even people that I don't know, because I see how precious life is. And I see things and I go, man, if this is all we got, we can do better than that. We can do better than that. And that's what drives me, is that it's not just, like, oh, I want to give. It's just I see that we can do better. But where does it drive for me to think that comes from? I don't know. Maybe it's just innate, and maybe you just have some more, or you don't. Maybe you do it by criticism.
I think there has to be some agreement that there's an innate thing to drive. It doesn't just. I think you can foster it within yourself, and but you got to see somebody else. You have to see somebody else doing something that you think you can do better, or that you want to do better, or that's something you want to be involved in.
And maybe it comes from, because you hit on this too. I can do better than that, which means that you know how to do it. So maybe if you foster skills, actual skills in some people, and they, someone, even if it's swinging a hammer, doing whatever, it doesn't matter. Or accounting, let's say, because I don't know anything about accounting. If I see a spreadsheet of accounting, I don't have a drive to do that, because I have no idea how to, I can go in the cells, but I don't know what's going on there.
Yep.
I have no drive. So maybe there's a sub of fostering a skill, and then that gives you the drive to improve on what you see out there in the world. I like that. I like that thought. Focus on building skills, because then you can make an actual difference, because you'll have the drive to change what you actually know it can be done better.
Yeah, there's something tangible that you can concentrate on. Exactly. Yeah. And then start compare. But I think then it comes back to that comparing again. Now all of a sudden you're going to be comparing your skill to somebody else's skill. And I think that's fine, as long as it's done, in a healthy way, for sure. Yeah. So cool. Okay. Yeah. Thanks again, Nick. You're still our best friend. Yeah. You're still the bestiest.
I hope you live up to his advice. I hope you really take that to heart.
This weekend I'm going to.
Yeah, execute on that.
Saturday I'm just executing like
You're
crazy.
Just gonna.
I'm doing nothing from the couch.
I just wanted a long pause. Gonna.
Yeah. Gonna. Sweet. Are you ready to continue your streak, Al?
Yeah, batting 100%.
I don't know if you know this, but we finished the IBC, and now we finished the International Building Code questions. Basically know it all front to back.
Experts.
Just ridiculous.
There's no way that we don't know everything in that 400-page document of contradictory code.
Woo! We are now into the International Residential Code.
Ah, interesting.
So we're going to start at the beginning here, and we'll continue the code questions, because they're different, and they're less stringent because it's a house, which is good from that perspective. So here we go. IRC Chapter 3 Building Planning R305. Ceiling height. Bathrooms, toilet rooms, and laundry rooms shall have a ceiling height of not less than what?
What?
A, 6'8", B, 7 feet, C, 7.5 feet, D, 8 feet.
So I remember what I want to say first is bedrooms have to have 7 feet. But the code actually might be habitable spaces need to have 7 feet. So I'm going to say 7 feet. But since you only said bathrooms, all that other stuff, what was it? Bathrooms,
toilet rooms, and laundry rooms. So it's basically an exception.
But doors are 6'8".
Come on, Mr. Architect.
So how are you going to have a door into a...
Yeah, but you can have doors that are 6 feet tall. And you can buy them right now from Home Depot. You can buy a 6'6" door, actually, from Home Depot.
I would never design it this way, but I'll say 6'8" because they only mention those spaces.
Ding, 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 ding. Woo! Correct. I see. Now, for everybody listening, what Alex used was the skills of deduction that he has gained through the architectural registration exams.
Yes, exactly.
So there you go. You have it. That's how you pass them right there. You just have to start thinking. Okay. Next question. Last question. Same chapter. R305.1.1 basements. Exception. At beams, girders, ducts, or other obstructions, the ceiling height shall not be less than what? 6'4", 6'8", 7 feet, or 7'3"?
I want to stick with 6'8".
Incorrect.
6'4"?
You can do 6'4", and that was
very familiar as that 6'4".
Yep. That was news to me. I totally forgot about that, but I do remember checking on that. I think like last year or something, we had a beam in a basement, a drop beam that ended up being shorter, and then I told that to the contractor, and he goes, "Oh wow, well that's cool. I thought it was going to be 6'8". So there you have it.
So two more notes. You said deductive reasoning. Have you heard of inductive reasoning?
No. Why did you just look that up?
No. So I heard about it a couple years ago. I've always heard deductive reasoning, but inductive, I'll say my opinion what it is, and then I'll read what Google has to say. So take a bunch of built buildings, right? And then you see a pattern, and then you induce from there that there must be a true principle or something like that, right? So instead of reasoning up, you're building from things that already exist. So inductive reasoning, this is from Google, is a logical process in which multiple premises, all believed true or found to be true, are combined to obtain a specific conclusion. So it's where you see multiple things and then you make a conclusion from there. Where, let's do deductive just so we're clear. Logical process in which a conclusion is based off the coordinates of multiple premises that are generally assumed to be true. It seems like these are very similar. Top down. Okay. It's referred to as top-down logic, where inductive reasoning is bottom up.
Exactly. The opposite. Yep.
There we go.
Wow. So, thanks for that, Al.
Yeah.
Aren't we enlightened?
Please, if you enjoyed this, please like us on Facebook. Please rate our podcast. If you have the new Apple update, when you're scrolling in the podcast, it'll ask you to rate right there.
Beautiful.
So if you're on your phone, pull over from your car.
Yep.
Do a little rating.
5 stars.
We'd appreciate it.
Follow us on the Twitter.
Thanks for getting after it.
Okay. See you next week.
Bye-bye.